Okay, in part one of the seed starting video, I talked about simply sowing seed and getting good germination. Now we've gotten to the stage where the plants are coming up. Here's some tomatoes that I had planted. Um, about about a week ago, actually, not very long ago. It's much warmer in the greenhouse today, which is really kind of a plus. So now I'm going to show you how to transplant those into a larger container. And just like we used a non-soil mix for seed germination, we're also going to use a non-soil mix for our potting, for potting these up. This is a sterile mix. This is really important, especially in a large greenhouse, to prevent diseases, from spreading and taking hold. So, and again, what we want to do is use 1 part water to about 3 parts of the mix. So I'm just, in this case, I'm kind of taking a little guess. Thing is, we want this mix to be moist, but not, dripping wet or soggy. And, you want to use warm water. We don't want to shock these plants in this next stage here. So I'm going to mix this up. And this is pretty nice. Not too moist, not dripping wet. And then I'm going to fill these what we call cell packs. There's 6 to a cell here. There's different ways to do this. These are fairly deep. Some people go with shallower ones. I kind of like these. Lots of room for the roots to grow. So basically just start filling it up. And pressing it in. Not real hard, but press it in some because it's going to settle. So you want to press it in. And then simply what we do is we take these, we're going to prick these out. And something I want to mention right now is, I started these, if you watched the first video, I started these over kind of a low heat on a heat mat. And I also had a fluorescent shop light over top of them, so as soon as they sprouted, the light was there. If it hadn't have been, they would have really stretched, gotten real leggy. Maybe you've seen that before, real thin stemmed, and you almost have to throw them out. So make sure you get in that stage, make sure there's a shop light over that for when they come up. And then and also the thing I want to mention about a shop light is it's just a fluorescent bulb, very inexpensive. You can put that within 2 or 3 inches of the seedlings and it won't hurt a thing. So now what I'm going to do is I got my 6 cells, I guess you'd say. I've got a plastic fork. I've also used a wooden popsicle stick. Just take and make little holes, and then I'm going to what we call prick these out. I want to kind of loosen up the roots and then grab them. It's very important we grab them by the leaves and not the stems. They're kind of like a thin, weak straw, and if you grab them by that stem, you'll cut off the xylem, which brings up the water and nutrients up into the leaf system. So we take those, we shove them down in. You can put them in a little ways. You can bury that stem a little bit, and then just press that in. Make sure you press that in with your fingers, so they're kind of anchored in there good. Another thing I want to mention too is that we don't prick these out until they get what we call the true leaves on them. So the first leaves that come up is called the cotyledon or seed leaves, and then you'll get true what we call the true leaves, and that's when we want to transplant them, so, or prick them out. So I bury that in again like that, press them in good. And then these right now, it's April 12th here in the Upper Peninsula. Still pretty cool at night, so I can't get these in the greenhouse yet. I wish I could, simply because they're going to start taking up more space now that they're in these cell packs, as you can see. So if it was warm enough, I'd want to put these right out here in the greenhouse and keep them out here. In fact, if it stays warm, I might just bring them in and out during the day. But otherwise, I want to get these back underneath that shop light and make sure that shop light is nice and low. It can be right within 2 or 3 inches of that plant. Now, something else I mentioned in that first video was a little bit of a different water regimen. Actually, I'll show you a couple of different ideas here. You know, we can spray water over top of either one of these. We can spray water, but you just can't get enough into the root system. So, and if you water over top, you disturb that seedling too much. So what we do is we bottom water. And this really is probably the best tip I can give, is to, you know, set these trays. This is a little shallow for this cell pack, but I think you get the idea. You know, find something that you know, the water level comes up to almost to the, you know, top here, maybe within about an inch, and set that in there for just a few minutes. Keep an eye on it. You don't want to get it too soggy. This here is probably already wet enough, and this here is going to take a little longer, and we probably want to get a little more water in there too. But like I say, you get the idea. When you do it like that, you'd be amazed. You know, especially as if you're doing a lot of these, you know, get them set in there. Sometimes I have an older bathtub in the house. Sometimes I've used that, and I'll just take a whole flat of those plants and put them in the tub and let the water soak up. It just gives them really nice soaking. And then you're on a little different regimen. When we were seed starting, we were talking about keeping things constantly moist. Now they're at this stage. What we do is we get them, you know, we water them good through the bottom watering, then let them dry out a little bit, and that way the roots expand, looking for water. Because at this stage, you want to start to develop good roots. So, you know, we let them dry out a little bit, let those roots expand, and then water. Dry out, you kind of repeat. So, we can actually start feeding them at this stage 2. What you want to do is get you could use an all-purpose like a Miracle-Gro fertilizer, or something like what they call a bloom buster or bloom builder, something high in phosphorus. Phosphorus is what's needed for good root development. So you could use either one really, you know, to get these off to a good start. And you know, from this, like I say, stay on that water regimen, keep them underneath the light, and then if you can, you know, get them out into a greenhouse like this. Even if you can just do it during the day, if you don't have too many, bring them out during the day. Let the sun get on them. Don't let it get too hot. You know, in the greenhouse here, I don't want it much hotter than 70, 75 during the day. Get them in at night. That'll start to kind of harden them off. And then when we do get temperatures that are warmer during the night, you know, above freezing, we can start leaving them out, or maybe consider a heat source for nighttime too. Nothing beats getting them out into the natural sunlight, you know, as soon as you can. But until you can, you know, you're going to want to use the artificial light Um, at least until they get established. Then maybe you could put them in a window, you know, sunny window, and then kind of go from there. But until they get established, they need consistent, about 14 hours a day of sunlight to develop nice. So if any questions, you know, this is posted on my blog. Just feel free to comment. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you for watching.